Good morning everyone. Welcome to NCERT audiobook. Today we start the third lesson of class 12th, Human Reproduction. As you are aware, humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous. The reproductive events in the humans include formation of gametes, gametogenesis, that is sperm in males and ovum in females, transfer of sperm into the female genital tract, insemination, and the fusion of male and female gametes, fertilization, leading to perform the zygote. This is followed by the formation and development of blastocytes and its attachment to the uterine wall, implantation, embryonic development, gestation, and delivery of the baby, parturition. You have learned that these reproductive events occurs after puberty. These are remarkable difference between the reproductive events in the male and the female. For example, sperm formation continuously even in old men, but formation of ovum cases in women around the age of 50 years. Let us examine the male and female reproductive system in humans. 3.1. The male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is located in the pelvis region. It includes a pair of testes along with accessory ducts, glands, and the external genitalia. The testes are situated outside the abdominal cavity with a pouch called scrotum. The scrotum helps in maintaining the low temperature of the testes 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the normal internal body temperature, necessary for the spermatogenesis. In adults, each testis is oval in shape with a length of about 4 to 5 cm and width about 2 to 3 cm. The testis is covered with the dense covering. Each testis has 20 to 50 compartments called testicular lobules. Each lobule contains one to three highly coiled seminiferous tubules in which sperms are produced. Each seminiferous tubule is lined on its inside by two types of cells called male germ cells, spermatogonia, and Sertoli cells. In male germ cells undergo meiotic division, finally leading to sperm formation, while Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the germ cell. The region outside the seminiferous tubules called interstitial space contains small blood vessels and interstitial cells of leading cells. Leading cells synthesize and secretes the testicular hormones called androgens. Other immunologically component cells are also present. The male sex accessory ducts include rete testes, vasa efferentia, epididymis, and vasa deferens. The seminiferous tubules of the testes open into the vasa efferentia through the rete testes. The vasa efferentia leave the testes and open into the epididymis located along with the posterior surface of each testis. The epididymis leads to the vasa deferens and ascends to the abdomen and loop over the urinary bladder. It receives the duct from the seminal vesicles and open into urethra as the ejaculatory duct. These ducts soar and transport the sperms from the testes to the outside through the urethra. The urethra originates from the urinary bladder and extended through the penis to its external opening called urethral meatus. The penis is the male external genitalia. It is made up of special tissue that helps in excretion of the penis to facilitate insemination. The enlarged end of the penis, called the glans penis, is covered by the loose fold of skin called foreskin. The male accessory glands include paired seminal vesicles, a prostate, and a paired bulbourethral glands. Secrets of these glands constitute the seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium, and certain enzymes. The secretion of bulbourethral glands also help in the lubrications of the penis. 3.2. The female reproductive system. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries along with a pair of oviducts, ureters, uterus, cervix, vagina and the external genitalia located in pelvis region. These parts of the system along with the pair of the mammary glands are integrated structurally and functionally to support the processes of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth and child care. Ovaries are the primary female sex organ that produce the female gamete ovum and several steroid hormones, ovarian hormone. The ovaries are located one on each side of the lower abdomen. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 cm in length and connected to the pelvic wall by uterus by ligaments. Each ovary is covered by the thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. This stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and the inner medulla. The oviduct, fallopian tube, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory glands. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 cm long and extended from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. The part closer to the ovary is the funnel-shaped infundibulum. These edges of the infundibulum process finger-like projection called fimbriae, which help in the collections of the ovum after ovulation. The infundibulum leads to a wider part of the oviduct called ampulla. The last part of the oviduct is thymus, is narrow lumen and it joins to the uterus. The uterus is single and it is also called womb. The shape of the uterus is like an inverted pear. It is supported by the ligament attached to the pelvic wall. The uterus opens into the vagina through a narrow cervix. The cavity of cervix is called cervical canal, which along with the vagina forms the birth canal. The walls of the uterus has 3 layers of tissue. The external thin membranous perimetrium, middle thick layer of the smooth muscles myometrium and inner granular layer called endometrium that lines of the uterine cavity. The endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle while the myometrium exhibits strong contraction during delivery of the baby. The female external genitalia includes the mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Mons pubis is the cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. The labia majora are fleshy folds of the tissue which extend down from the mons pubis and surrounded the vaginal opening. The labia minora are paired folds of tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partially by the membrane called hymen, and the clitoris is the tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. The hymen often torn during the first coitus intercourse. However, it can also be broken by the sudden fall or jolt. Insertion of vaginal tampon activate participation in some sports like horseback riding, cycling, etc. In some women, the hymen persists even after coitus also. In fact, the presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator to virginity and sexual experiences. A functional mammary gland is characteristic of all female mammals. The mammary glands are paired structure breasts that contain the glandular tissue and the variable amount of fat. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing cluster of the cells called alveoli. The cells of alveoli secretes milk which is stored in the cavities lumens of alveoli. The alveoli open into the mammary tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form the mammary ducts. Several mammary ducts join to form the wide mammary ampulla which is connected to the lactiferous duct through which milk is sucked out. Gametogenesis. The primary sex organ, the testes in the males and the ovaries in the females produce gametes, that is sperm and ovum respectively, by the process called gametogenesis. In testes, the immature male germ cells spermatogonia produce sperms by the spermatogenesis that brings to the puberty. The spermatogonia, seeing spermatogonium present on the inside wall of seminiferous tubules, multiply by mitotic division and increases in number. Each spermatogonia is diploid and contains 46 chromosomes. Some of the spermatogonia, called primary spermatocytes, periodically undergoes meiosis. A primary spermatocyte completes the first meiotic division, reduction division, leading to formation of two equal haploid cells called secondary spermatocytes, which have only 23 chromosomes each. The secondary spermatocytes undergo the second meiotic division to produce four equal haploid spermatids. What would be the number of chromosomes in the spermatids? The spermatids are transferred into spermatozoa, sperms, by the process called spermatogenesis. After spermatogenesis, sperm heads becomes embedded in the Sertoli cells and are finally released from the seminiferous tubules by the process of spermination. Spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty due to the significant increases in the secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH. This, if you recall, is the hypothalamic hormone. The increased level of the GnRH then acts as the anterior pituitary gland and stimulates secretion of two gonadotropins, luteinizing hormone LH and follicle stimulating hormone FSH. LH acts as the leading cells and stimulate synthesis and secretion of androgen. Androgens in turn stimulate the process of spermatogenesis. FSH acts on the Sertoli cells and stimulates secretion of some factors which help in the process of spermiogenesis. Let us examine the structure of sperm. The microscopic structure composed of head, neck and a middle piece and a tail. A plasma membrane envelopes the whole body of the sperm. The sperm head contains the elongated haploid nucleus, the anterior portion of which is covered by the cap-like structure acrosome. The acrosome is filled with enzymes that help the fertilization of the ovum. The middle piece possesses the numerous mitochondria which produces energy for the movement of tail and facilitates sperm motility essential for fertilization. The human male ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperm during the coitus, of which for normal fertility, at least 60% sperms must have normal shape and size, and at least 40% of them must show vigorously motility. Sperm released from the seminiferous tubules are transported by the accessory ducts. Secretion of epididymis, vasa deferens, seminal vesicles and the prostate are essential for the maturation and motility of sperms. The seminal plasma along with the sperm constitute the semen. The functions of the male sex accessory ducts of the glands are maintained by the testicular hormone androgens. The process of formation of the mature female gametes is called oogenesis, which is markedly different from the spermatogenesis. Oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development stage when a couple of the million gametes mother cell oogonia are formed within each fetal ovary. No more oogonia are formed and added after birth. These cells start division and enter into prophase 1 of the meiotic division and get temporarily arrested at the stage called primary oocytes. Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by the layer of granulosa cells and is called a primary follicle. Large number of the follicles generated during the phase of birth to puberty. Therefore, at puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles are left in each ovary. The primary follicle gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa cells. A new theca is called secondary follicle. The secondary follicle soon transformed into the tertiary follicle, which is characterized by the fluid-filled cavity called antrum. The theca layer is organized into the inner theca interna and an outer theca externa. It is important to draw your attention that it is at this stage that the primary oocytes within the tertiary follicles grows in size and completes the first meiotic division. It is the unequal division resulting in the formation of a large haploid secondary oocytes and tiny first polar body. The secondary oocytes retain bulk of the nutrient-rich cytoplasm of the primary oocytes. Can you think any advantages for this? Does the first polar body born out the first meiotic division divides further and degenerates? At present, we are not very certain about this. The tertiary follicle further changes into the mature follicle or Graafian follicle. The secondary oocytes form a new membrane called zona pellucida surrounding it. The Graafian follicle now ruptures to release the secondary oocytes ovum from the ovary by the process of ovulation. Can you identify major difference between the spermatogenesis and oogenesis? A diagrammatic representation of the spermatogenesis and oogenesis is given below. Menstrual cycle. The reproductive cycle in the female primates, example monkey, apes and human beings, is called menstrual cycle. The first menstruation begins at the puberty and is called menarche. In human females, menstruation is repeated at an average interval of about 28 to 29 days, and the cycle of the event starting from one menstruation till the next one is called the menstrual cycle. One ovum is released ovulation during the middle of each menstrual cycle. The major events of the menstrual cycle are shown in figure 3.9. The cycle starts with the menstrual phase when menstruation flow occurs and it lasts for 3 to 5 days. The menstrual flow results due to the breakdown of endometrial lining of the uterus and its blood vessels, which forms liquid that comes out through the vagina. Menstruation only occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized. Lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy. However, it may also be caused due to some other underlying causes like stress, poor health, etc. The menstrual phase is followed by the follicular phase. During this phase, the primary follicle in the ovary grows to become a fully mature Graafian follicle, and simultaneously the endometrium of uterus regenerates through proliferation. These changes in the ovary and the uterus are induced by changes in the levels of pituitary and ovarian hormone. The secretion of gonadotropin, LH and FSH increases gradually during the follicular phase and stimulates follicular development as well as secretion of estrogen by the growing follicle. Both LH and FSH attain a peak level in the middle of cycle. Rapid secretion of LH leading to its maximum level during the mid-cycle called LH surge includes rupture. Its maximum level during the mid-cycles called LH surge includes rupture of Graafian follicle and thereby the release of ovulation. The ovulatory phase is followed by the luteal phase, during which the remaining parts of the Graafian follicles transform as a carpus luteum. The carpus luteum secretes a large amount of progesterone, which is essential for the maintenance of endometrium. Such as endometrium is necessary for implantation of the fertilized ovum and other events of pregnancy. During pregnancy, all the events of menstrual cycle stops and there is no menstruation. In the absence of fertilization, the corpus luteum degenerates. This causes disintegration. The endometrium leading to menstruation, marking a new cycle. In human beings, menstrual cycle causes around 50 years of age. That is termed as the menopause. Cyclic menstruation is an indicator of normal reproductive phase and extends between menarche and menopause. Fertilization and implantation. During copulation, coitus, semen is released by the penis into the vagina. Insemination. The motile sperm swim rapidly, pass through the cervix, enter into the uterus and finally reach the ampullary region of the fallopian tube. The ovum released by the ovary is called transported to the ampullary region, where fertilization takes place. Fertilization can only occur if the ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously. to the ampullary region. This is the reason why not all copulation head lead to fertilization and pregnancy. The process of fusion of sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. During fertilization, a sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida layer of ovum and indicates the changes in the membrane, that lack of entry of the additional sperm. Thus, it ensures that only one sperm can fertilize an ovum. The secretion of the acrosome helps the sperm enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum through the zona pellucida and the plasma membrane. These induce the completion of the meiotic division of the secondary oocyte. The secondary meiotic division is also unequal and result in the formation of second polar body and the haploid ovum OOD. Soon the haploid nucleus of the sperms that of the ovum fuse together to form the diploid zygote. How many chromosomes will there in a zygote? One has to remember the sex of the baby has been decided at the half itself. Let us see how. As you know, the chromosome pattern in the human female is XX and the male is XY. Therefore, all the haploid gametes produced by the females have sex chromosome X, whereas in male gametes sperms, the sex chromosome could be either X or Y. Hence, the 50% of the sperm carry X chromosome, while the another 50 carry Y chromosome. After the fusion of the male and female gametes, the zygote would carry either XX or XY, depending on where the sperm carrying by X or Y fertilized the ovum. The zygote carrying XX could be developed into female baby and XY would be form a male. You will learn more about the chromosomal pattern in chapter 6. That is why scientifically it is correct to say that the sex of the baby is determined by the father and not by the mother. The mitotic division starts at the zygote, moves through the isthmus of the oviduct called cleavage towards the uterus and forms 2, 4, 8, 16 daughter cells called blastomeres. The embryo with 8 and 16 blastomeres is called morula. The morula continues to divide and transform into blastocytes. As it moves further into the uterus, the blastomeres of the blastocytes are arranged into the outer layer called trophoblast, and the inner group of the cells attached to the trophoblast is called inner cell mass. The trophoblast layer then gets attached to the endometrium and then inner cell mass gets differentiated as the embryo. After attachment, the uterine cell divides rapidly and covers the blastocysts. As a result, the blastocysts become embedded in the endometrium and of the uterus. This is called implantation and it leads to pregnancy. Pregnancy and embryonic development. After implantation, finger-like projection appears on the trophoblast called chorionic villi, which are surrounded by the uterine tissue and maternal blood. The chorionic villi of uterine tissue becomes ingratiated with each other and jointly form the structural and functional unit between the developing embryo, fetus, and maternal body is called placenta. The placenta facilitates the supply of the oxygen and nutrients to the embryo and also removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste material produced by the embryo. The placenta is connected to the embryo through the umbilical cord, which help in the transport of substance to and from the umbilical cord, which help in the transport of substance to and from the embryo. Placenta also acts as endocrine tissue of the product several hormones like human chorionic gonadotropin, human placental lactogen, estrogen, progesterone, etc. In the latter phase of pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin is also secreted by ovary. Let us remember that HCG, HPL and relaxin are produced in women only during the pregnancy. In addition, during pregnancy, the level of the other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. are increases several folds in the maternal blood. Increased production of these hormones is essential for the supporting of the fetal growth, metabolic changes in the mother and maintenance of pregnancy. Immediately after implantation, the inner cell mass embryo differentiates into an outer layer called ectoderm, inner layer is called endoderm, and middle layer mesoderm. Soon appears between the ectoderm and endoderm. These three layers give rise to all tissues, organ in adult. It need to be mentioned here that the inner cell mass contains certain cells called stem cells, which have the potency to give rise to the all tissues of the organs. What are the major features of embryonic development at various months and pregnancy? In human, pregnancy lasts 9 months. Do you know for how many months pregnancy lasts in dogs, elephants, cats? Find out. In human beings, after 1 month of pregnancy, the embryo heart is formed, and the first sign to growing fetus may be noticed by listening to the heart sound carefully through the stethoscope. By the end of the second month of the pregnancy, the fetus develops into limbs and digits. And the end of the 12-week first trimester, most of the major organ systems are formed. For example, the limbs and external genitalia organ are well developed. The first movement of the fetus is appearance in the hair on the head are usually observed during the 5th month. By the end of about 24 weeks and the end of second trimester, the body is covered with the fine hairs, eyelids separated, and eyelashes are formed. By the end of the 9th month of pregnancy, the fetus is fully developed and it is ready to deliver. Parturition and lactation. The average duration of the human pregnancy is about 9 months, which is called the gestation period. Vigorously contraction of the uterus at the end of the pregnancy causes expulsion, delivery of the fetus. This process of delivery of the fetus, childbirth, is called parturition. Parturition induced by the complex neuroendocrine mechanism. The signals of the parturition originates from the fully developed fetus and placenta, which includes mild uterine contraction called fetal ejection reflex. These triggers release the oxytocin from the maternal pituitary. Oxytocin acts at the uterine muscles and causes stronger uterine contraction, which in turn seems to stimulate a further secretion of oxytocin. The stimulatory reflex between the uterine contraction and oxytocin secretion continuously resulting in the stronger and stronger contraction. This leads to expulsion of the baby out of the uterus through the birth canal, parturition. Soon after the infant is delivered, the placenta is also expelled out of the uterus. What do you think the doctors inject the induced delivery? The mammary glands of the female undergo differentiation during the process called lactation. This helps in their mother in feeding of the newborn. The milk produced during these initial few days of the lactation is called colostrum, which contains the several antibodies absolutely essential to develop resistance for the newborn babies. Breastfeeding during the initial period of the infant growing is recommended by doctors for bringing up a healthy baby. Here the third lessons of the class 12th is completed. Thank you everyone. And if these videos are helpful for you, so don't forget to subscribe my channel.